Okay, it's been a week, time for another trading recap. For this week, I'm currently sitting up around 1700 bucks on this 50k eval, which means I need about 1300 bucks more to pass before I can move back onto a funded account. So the goal for this week is to pass the eval and get funded before Friday. However, if you saw what happened last week, you'd know that I can easily just lose 2k in a day and blow the eval. So in the high chance I do blow the eval, I might just use this promo from MyFundedFutures to reset one of my old sim funded accounts for 200 bucks, which means either way, by the end of this week, I will be back on a funded account. Alrighty, to start off this week, I did see that we had some bigger news on Wednesday and Thursday, so that might mean today could just be a straight up boring and choppy day. We also were kind of sitting in a range overnight too, so I was looking for a break above or below that before trying anything. And off open, we did just pop higher. That move did end up getting rejected immediately, but this next candle was showing signs that buyers were still present, so I did take a stab long, because if we do get that push up, I saw potential for this trade to be the one which will pass the eval for me, which price was getting that move up, but then it got blocked up here and sent right back down to stop me out for break even. However, right after stopping me out, price did bounce up a little to form this wick, so I might have just re-entered that long, not wanting to miss the move up. Where price did get another small pop up, but I did move my stop loss to break even, because if we didn't shoot straight up with this candle, price was probably gonna fall back down. And yeah, this candle turned around, so I just got stopped out near break even again. After that, I don't know, I really wanted to see this move higher play out, so I might have chased into another long after seeing another wick here. I low-key did want to see price hit these 20s first, but I was getting a little angsty that we would get that pop up if I didn't enter now. And yeah, I should have just waited, because price did drop lower and I got stopped out here for an L. Again though, price bounced after stopping me out, so yeah, I entered yet another long. This time though, it was an actual setup, as we did bounce off both the 5-minute moving average and the 15-minute moving average here. We also were retesting these pre-market highs, so this was the last chance for me to try a long, and luckily this time we did get that fat pop up. Seeing that, I did move my stop loss to break even, because if this fat candle got retraced, then longs were just cooked anyways. Price did peak higher though, so things were looking pretty good if I do say so myself. However, that was quickly changed as price did get slapped down, but instead of bailing out, I did end up adding one more contract to the trade, because again, I wanted to pass this eval with one winning trade, and with this added contract, I could lower my target to around here. All I needed now was price to pop up again, which we did get, and price almost hit my target. Instead of hitting my target, price instead was teasing me, but then I realized I didn't need my full target to be hit. I just needed enough to pass his eval. So instead of waiting for price to hit my target, I did bail out a little early after seeing that I had enough to pass my eval. So yeah, with that fourth long attempt today, I was able to make up for my losses and bring home a profit of 1300 bucks, which does complete my goal this week of getting a funded account again. Alrighty, so we back on the funded account again, and the first thing I did was go straight into TradeAvate and set a $525 daily loss limit on the account, so I don't lose everything in one day, because before I had more of a mental limit, which when I crash out, I tend to ignore that mental limit. But with this set on the account now, hopefully this funded run will go better this time. Next, I also did move back to my sizing of 5 micros, because I don't need to be as aggressive anymore with those minis. So with that set, I went into trading for today, and I did notice that we were still low-key sitting in a range from overnight again, which again, with the news this week, if price ain't gonna break out of this range, I ain't gonna trade it. And off open, price was just staying within the range, with price failing to pop higher. We did get a drop lower though, which yeah, was quickly bought right back up, but this candle did get squashed and sent down again, so maybe we were gonna drop lower. Nope, that shit got bought up again. With price staying in like a 50-point range, I know that my setups are probably less likely to work out today, as moving averages do suck in rangy conditions. So after seeing this buy up also get rejected near the top to solidify the idea of a range, I did step away from the charts to save my mental energy, you know. However, we did end up breaking lower and did get this short opportunity, but I already decided just to hop off for today, so no trades for me, making the first day on the funded account a boring day, I guess. Okay, for today, we did have PPI data come out a little lower than expected, and price popped higher because of that. So if price held above these pre-market highs, maybe we could push higher, but nah, a little after open, we fell back down. This move lower did get bought up though, so I did try long, wanting price to push back up to those highs. I was mainly looking for price to do this quick pullback and pop up immediately with a strong green candle, but we weren't really getting that, so I was getting a little scared we would just fall back down. And after this green candle flipped red, I let that fear take over, making me bail out for a small loss here. Seeing that red candle also may have made me immediately hop into a short. Main reasoning here, I guess, was if we did drop now, this probably would be my only chance at catching a move today. So a little bit of FOMO came out on that one, but yeah, I should have just held on to that earlier long, because price popped right back up and this candle ended up closing green. With that, I knew I was cooked on this short, so I just closed out of my short right before I got stopped out. By taking that L and making that mistake of not holding on to my first trade, I was a little pissed off and I could feel myself start to crash out. Like, I was fiending to catch another trade to make up for that mistake, but I tried my best to stay calm and wait for at least least a better setup. However, price was just chopping around for a while and I just couldn't hold back anymore. So I took a break from the charts, and when I came back, price was still chopping. With that, I decided just to close the charts for good today so I don't do any more stupid stuff, which does mark the first official trading day on the Funded as a red day. Yesterday, I was able to somewhat control myself and limit my losses, but today, I couldn't. With CPI data coming out today, price did spike lower, but was immediately bought right back up before New York opened, so I was getting more bullish vibes if price could hold up here, but a bit after open, price got sent right back down with this fat red candle, so I took this chance to try out a short looking for that selling momentum to carry price back down, which we did get, but that was bought right back up and I got stopped out for a loss, and that could have been prevented had I just moved my stop loss to break even, but I just got cocky. Like, I saw price down here and I thought, yeah, we'll hit my target soon. So I looked away and I swear this shit got bought up the moment I stopped looking at the charts. I did notice price was hovering around my entry, but instead of bailing out, I held on hoping we would go back down, which yeah, just leads us back to me getting stopped out. And making these mistakes where I take L's instead of accepting a break-even stop low-key trigger the fuck out of me. So yeah, after taking that L, I was trying really hard to stop myself from crashing out and forcing a trade, cause low-key, after seeing price not make a higher high, I was getting more ranged vibes. So after seeing price dip lower, I wasn't planning on taking a long just yet, cause it didn't really fit with my entry model, but then I saw a decent green candle, and since I already took an L, I was really eager to make that money back, so I ignored my plan and entered along anyways, which was just immediately shot right back down, so I bailed out for a loss. With that, ooh, I was full on crashing out, because if I just played my cards right today, I could have been sitting at break even, but instead I was down over 300 bucks due to not one, but two mistakes. So at this point, I couldn't contain myself anymore, and I just immediately went back in with a short, but yeah, that popped up, and I got quickly stopped out as I did hit my daily loss limit on the account. So yeah, today was just a quick day full of mistakes and me crashing out because of that. But thanks to that daily loss limit I set, I'm walking away with a loss of 500 bucks instead of blowing the account, which still is a little over a quarter of the account. So still not the best considering had I just followed all my rules and stayed patient, there would have been a long setup a bit later with this higher high to establish a trend for confirmation and this wick off the moving average for an entry, which yeah, would have worked out. So today could have been a green day had I just stayed patient, but nope, instead I'm in the red after hitting my daily loss limit. Today I didn't trade because I went on a little weekend trip, so instead here's the secret message of this week. As of now, I've finally created a Discord server for anyone that wants to join and chat. It was a lot easier than I expected, so that's my fault for putting it off. I wasn't too sure what to put in there though, but if you do join, you do get to see my YouTube ad revenue so far, if you were curious about that. And after I'm back from my little trip, I will try to be more active on Discord, so I'll see you there. So I don't know about this week. Like, I did complete my goal of getting back to a funded account by passing that eval, so I didn't have to spend another 200 bucks. But then on the funded, I was just making a bunch of mistakes and being overall a lot more impatient, which resulted in me ending this week down 800 bucks. So what's the problem? Well, it's simple. I can't follow my rules at all, and it's just because I'm being so impatient and letting my emotions affect my trades. Because instead of waiting for quality setups, I'm entering anything and everything. Like, if you notice on Monday, I could have just saved myself the trouble by not taking the first 3 trades because they didn't have a solid setup behind them, and I would have passed the eval that day anyways by taking this one trade with a setup here. Tuesday, I kept my cool and didn't force any trades. Wednesday could have been a smaller red day or even a break-even day had I just not gotten scared of my first setup and flip sides. Then there was Thursday where my first trade was fine. There was a plan and setup behind it. I just executed it poorly by failing to move my stop loss. The real problem was that second trade where I just FOMO'd into it after ignoring my setup rules, and then the obvious third trade where I was just crashing out. So again, it just keeps going back to my lack of patience and discipline that's keeping me from getting a payout. Because honestly, if I was just patient and played to my rules, I could have ended this week in the green. So it's just so annoying. Like, why can't I just follow my rules, bro?